Sales takes care of a lot of different project, other questions.
Mm-hmm,
$100,000,
mm-hmm, exactly.
$50,000, $1 million. It means that someone needs it, and there is
I'm
some
willing to
basis
pay
that
for it.
we could basically some foundation. I've done a lot of construction in my life. You can't build anything without foundation.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Tell us what message do you have for young entrepreneurs? We don't want any tech entrepreneur to fail, but they clearly need to listen, right?
Yes, you're definitely right. Um, I think that tech is generally a very high risk industry, and investors generally understand the risk. The failure rate in tech is higher than in retail, for example. Um, and I especially admire tech investors for that specific reason, especially the cold-headed ones, because it's again, it's often you know that pretty well, like after interviewing so many of them, and I'm sure like that we probably have similar. I mean, uh, founders in general and high-tech founders in particular are visionaries. Visionaries need practitioners to land their ideas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what the founders often lack. I My very simple piece of advice: hiring the right team, bringing the right professionals together. Just before we started podcast, I was telling you we all have our weak sides. It's normal. Some have great visions, some know how to land them. Evaluate your competences objectively and hire or partner or bring aboard in any other way possible as advisors, as board members, the people with the competences that you lack. If you are a big
Mm-hmm.
visionary, bring the people, bring the practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
bring the operational managers, bring those that could
Mm-hmm.
land your amazing ideas.
And also, Miguel, let's talk about ego and let your ego at the door. My first business, we have a property business in London, managed to sell over 5 million. Okay. And this business, the property was doing very well. And then I thought that was a big deal. I have big ego. I'm telling you, 18 years ago. And then I went there and opened a restaurant in London and I lost 200,000 pounds. And I realized that I was not a big deal. And in fact, I didn't know anything about business, that I was just lucky in my first business. So I started to understand from that moment that I have big slap and I lost a lot of money. And I lost 200,000 pounds. I lost my girlfriend that I had back on the day. I couldn't see my friends for 2 years. It was a big slap on my face and to my ego because at the beginning you start your business, start to make some money, and you think that you know everything and you are the big deal. I realized very early age in my business career that that I actually was a nobody and I didn't know anything about business. When I opened that restaurant, which it was something very intense. I opened in Brick Lane, in the most competitive street, one of the most competitive restaurant street in London. Every restaurant out there in my street have 30 years of experience. And some of those restaurants have been passed from generation to generation. And then Harry comes there in this road, busy road. Look, I'm a big deal. I'm gonna
Harry
make this
Potter.
restaurant work.
Harry Potter
Yes, I'm
comes
a
and
big
does the
deal with my
magic.
magic, with my magic. They were all looking at me and said, man, you are in the big league here. You need to know what you're doing. And I tried hard. I tried for 2 years, but I couldn't. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't know anything about the food restaurant. So, but me, guy, this process bring me back my ego that now I listen. I understand that, you have to listen to your team. Yeah. And sometimes the problem we have with founders is again because they just don't know. Just because they write an amazing piece of code and they have an amazing AI, they think, oh, I have a business. And then you come and you give them an advice, guys, look, I have experience, I've been doing so many business. Forget because they always want no more money to take. I need money to take. I need money to the software. And you go to those guys and say, look, we need to show this to people to see, if market wanted, how much they're willing to pay, how is the traction. Yeah,
And
they don't
for
want to
me, the
listen.
negative
Yeah.
side of that, like the backflip of that coin, that again, as a data scientist, I look for co-influences in those five, six factors, and obviously my due diligence matrix
Mhm.
is way more expanded than those 5 points. But
Mhm.
they start
Tell
to
us, Miguel, what are you
contradict a
looking?
bit. They start
What are
to a
you
bit
looking?
contradict to each other because
Mhm.
the problem is that, for example, if you really believe in your idea, you want this baby to be born as fast as possible. And then I had, in my early stages of my career, then I had some project that I heavily believed in. I was ready to, like, I wasn't putting those crazy valuations in. I was asking what I need to make that baby basically
And put it in front of people. Sometimes what happens is that the founder is scared to put the product in front of people because he's the rejection. He's afraid that people said, I don't like it, I don't want to pay any money. So they never face that and they always behind the screen writing the code, try to predict how it's gonna be rather than just ask the market. So Miguel, tell us what is your ideal tech founder? Yeah, what are you looking for from a tech entrepreneur that would be attractive from the investor point of view? Because we have a big gap. You mentioned earlier, huge gap. Or we have a lot of tech entrepreneurs with a lot of ideas, full of energy, very young. Okay, but they always tell me, Harry, I cannot find money. When I have a product, then the investor said traction. When I have traction, they want sales. When I want sales, they say they're never happy. And then on the other hand, you have the investor telling me, Harry, they cannot sell what they created. So how can I go and give them money if they don't sell? They have nothing. So in
I mean,
between is a
if
huge gap. So what is the idea tech founder that you guys investors are looking for?
I mean, every investor, I guess, is a bit different in that sense, but me and the group of investors that I am cooperating with, we are mostly interested in those founders that have already some type of sales and friction. And I understand that completely that not all founders are able to bring it to that stage, but those who are able to bring it to the sales, they have competitive advantage because sales takes care of a lot of different project other questions.
He's
Because if
saying that your
there,
product is actually fit for the market.
it doesn't matter if it's $100,000,
Exactly.
$50,000, $1 million. It means that someone needs it, and there is
And
some
willing to
basis
pay
that
for it.
we could basically some foundation. I've done a lot of construction in my life. You can't build anything without foundation, and foundations are not often the hardest ones to build. Take 30 to 40% of the budget and takes a lot of time to do, but they are the ones that we don't never see again. So they are foundational, and this is very important for that for any business. And we are okay not to go. We don't want to go into foundations because if there is no sales, then we need to understand everything. Then we need to evaluate too many different risks and everything. So I mean, if you don't have foundation, the job is much. If you don't have sales as a foundation, your job is much harder, and you need to first basically sell it to angels, to angel investors, to high risk takers. You need to basically sell your vision, and this is much harder task. So if you have any funds, like any and all funds that you initially have, should be dedicated to bring in some type of prototype. Because a lot of things, especially in high tech, a lot of things could be adjusted and added and built and as you go in process. You do like you need to phase it out and make sure you allocated some money to marketing, to sales, to proven that someone needs the market. Even though a
Making,
lot of
yeah.
ideas right now also a little bit contradicts
Mhm.
with another thing, that, for example, even with my own legacy crypto project and platform, a lot of things that we do right now is basically, but again, we have funding for that, like we allocated funds for that, but like we grow in the subscription base. We have like 26,000 on one of our
Oh,
projects,
wow.
around 50,000 on another
Can
project,
you
but
mention the names? Mikhail, can you mention the names of those projects?
Stock Hunt AI is one of the platforms that we launched about summer of the last year. It's still in the free trial phase, so we obtained around 26,000 subscribers.
Oh,
But they
wow.
all
A lot
subscribers.
of
We don't
traction.
charge
Wow.
money because a lot of modern models, they are based on getting the people hooked
I
first
agree.
and then charging for it. I was talking the other day
Mhm.
that I don't know if you heard SanDisk, like the flash card provider, like the hard disk storage provider, they
Mhm.
increased prices by 3x on all their product
Oh,
last week
wow.
because of the
Wow.
supply shortages. And I was talking
Wow.
to a bunch of investors and a bunch of like fund managers. Like, I think it's a reasonable thing for ChatGPT and all those things to raise the prices too right now. Because
Mhm.
I mean, if they charge me instead of 200, 600 tomorrow, I will still use it. They have a great price elasticity. I mean, there is no problem. Like they could,
No,
like
if you are
they
used to
got us
use it,
hooked
yeah,
already.
yeah. Tell me about it.
And that's a
Dropbox.
perfect example for me of the, like, I mean, we see a lot of all those examples growing on
Mhm.
our eyes right now. It's a great business model.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.